Hi, this is Edmund Wu, the Cave Gourmet with my paleo chef Drew Peterson, one of my paleo chefs, and we are going to be preparing a week's worth of food today, and so that you can prepare along with us. Okay, so you should have the menu in front of you, and you should probably already have all of the things that we have here from the shopping list. And we're going to get going. We just kind of go because, hey, we're cooks and not actors, so we're kind of pretty nervous about this. So we're just going to go right into it. We're going to be cooking, and you're just going to be following and making no judgments. I don't want to see any comments on the blog about how these guys are act for crap. None of that stuff. Okay, we're just going to show you how you can cook your whole week's worth of food. You can smile now, Drew. Okay. We're going to show you how to cook a whole week's worth of food in a couple hours, so that you will have your meals all prepared for you. There'll be no excuses. You're going to eat the way you need to eat good whole foods, eat reasonable portions of it, and get into the best shape of your life. Okay, let's get going. Drew?
All right, first we want to dice enough onions to last us for the whole week, the food for the whole week. So we're going to start by cross-cutting the onion here, and then we will do some vertical slices without cutting all the way through the onion.
Now, be careful. He has a sharp knife. You will probably have a sharp knife too. Just be very careful when you do all your cutting. Drew's a professional chef. He's been cutting 1,000,000 onions by now. So be careful.
And once you've done your cross cuts and your vertical cuts, just go ahead and cut down, and you'll come out with a pretty nice small dice of onions there. Today we are going to go ahead and do 2 onions this way, and that should be enough to fix our meals for the entire week for us.
Now, some people say, "Hey, Edmund, onions, they don't taste good. They make my breath stink. Blah 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 blah. Wine. Okay, look. Taste is one of the spices of life. I don't even know if that makes sense, but you need onions to help make your food taste good. And as long as they're cooked, you're not going to have them on your breath. If you got some big date, look, let me tell you, there are worse things that you need to be worrying about, which is getting in shape, getting the body that you need to be in, than your breath being stanky. Okay, the whole breath being stanky, son, or you're not even going to get close enough to worry about your breath being stanky.
And we'll do 1 more onion the same way, and that should be enough to last us for the entire week.
Again, knife is sharp. Be careful. I don't want you suing me because you wouldn't cut your full hand off with a sharp knife. Very careful. The Cave Gourmet assumes no responsibilities for your lack of cutting skills.
All right, once again, we just do a couple cross cuts across the onion. Couple vertical slices, once again, not all the way through the onion, I apologize. And then just cut off some slices and you'll have a nice small dice of onion there for you.
Because we're going to lose weight by eating healthy, eating good, reasonable portions. We're not going to lose weight by cutting off an appendage. Now, we could have had all this stuff cut for you before we got started, but it was my intent to show that you could do this in a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours. So to have had everything pre-prepped ahead of time, at least we trim some stuff, but to have all that pre-prep ahead of time would sort of been cheating. So obviously we're cutting onions. You know how to cut onions. Just fast forward.
Next vegetable we're going to cut is going to be our sweet potato. We have a couple of dishes with sweet potato hash browns, and we also have some sweet potato fries that we're going to have on the menu this week. So we've gone ahead and peeled this sweet potato. We are going to go ahead and cut this sweet potato in half. And we are going to reserve half of this for sweet potato fries. We're going to use the other half for sweet potato hash browns, which we're just going to go ahead and do a dice. So to do that dice, we're going to go ahead and cut this sweet potato into medium-sized planks. And then once we get the planks cut, which you can see when I say planks, I just mean a plank of sweet potato, we're going to go ahead and cut that into the shape of what would be French fries. So you've got those cut, and then you can just go down the line and cut those into little squares, and those will be your sweet potato hash browns. So we're using half this sweet potato hash browns. We're using the other half for sweet potato fries, which to make those sweet potato fries, all you do is omit this last step of cutting them into small squares for your hash browns.
Now, for your breakfasts and for your lunches, what we're shooting for is 3 to 4 ounces of starch. You usually see on most of the dishes, I put 3 to 4 ounces of starch, typically turnips, maybe quinoa, maybe sweet potatoes. You'll also see, and as I've already explained in the text that you got, is that basically in the dinners we're not going to have that many carbohydrates in the dinners, but we're shooting to have these starchy carbohydrates for breakfasts and lunches.
So like I said, for the sweet potatoes fries, we'll just omit that last step, and we've got some fries cut there that we'll toss in the oven here in a couple of minutes and get toasted up for us.
All right.
Next, we do have some bell peppers in a couple of dishes this week, so we'll go ahead and slice up some bell peppers and dice about half this bell pepper, and we'll leave the other half about sliced. So I'll just cut it in half, and we'll go ahead and clean the guts out of the bell pepper here.
Now, obviously, if you've been cooking or you cook a lot, all of this is very, very basic. Hey, for those of you who are who know how to do all this stuff that we're doing, at this part, you can just fast forward right past all of this. But for this first week, we are trying to show you everything step by step. As you go through week 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 5-week transformation, we'll probably, to keep the video short and more interesting for you, we'll probably go ahead and have all of these vegetables prepped.
Alright, the next vegetable we're going to prep is going to be some turnips. We're just going to do these. We have a couple of dishes with some diced turnips. So I've got 2 turnips here that we've already peeled, but we're going to go ahead and dice those up. We're going to do those pretty much the same way we did the sweet potatoes. We're going to go ahead and just cut them into planks and then cut them into fry shapes, and then we're just going to go down the line cutting them into smaller squares, dicing them up for you.
Now these turnips, obviously turnips, you don't get turnips at the grocery store like this, and we have already peeled those. In case you were going to be at the grocery store saying that the Cave Gourmet told you to get turnips and you couldn't find them like that, and then you're getting all over the grocery manager trying to find perfectly white turnips like this. And generally wasting your time when you should be cooking. Now I can tell you, for the sake of the video, Drew has slowed down his cutting skills. Typically, like a turnip like this, take him like 3 or 4 seconds. I mean, it's amazing what he can do like that. But then, of course, he's using the food processor. But this is slow down for your typical mortal humans.
Alright, so we got a nice pile of turnip hash browns there that we'll use later on. Next vegetable we'll prep is we've got some portobello mushrooms here that we've got in a couple of dishes, a couple of our lunch dishes this week. So we'll go ahead and get some portobellos cleaned for you guys. Now you're going to want to remove the stem and all of the gills in the portobello, which is usually easy if you have a spoon.
That's how you know Drew's a chef. He called them gills.
So you can just scrape those out and they easily come out with a little soft rubbing of the side of a spoon. And for these, we're just going to go ahead and slice one of these and then we're going to dice the other one. So when we dice the portobello, it's just like everything else that we've done today. We're just going to go ahead and slice it, and then we will go ahead and turn those slices sideways, run our knife down the side of them, and cut them into little squares. Got this bowl over here for some of our vegetables. Go ahead and get our turnips into this bowl here for us.
So I'm doing what you would call a sous chef job, which is a fancy name of being the helper to the chef. For you, you could use one of your kids, your significant other. Well, probably not your significant other. Significant others never typically like to be sous anythings.
One of the staples of the kitchen is going to be celery. Celery goes in a whole lot of dishes that you guys don't even realize that it probably goes in. So we're going to go ahead and dice up some celery, just to, not even dice, just a little slice of celery, just to make sure we have those for our dishes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pull off these outer stalks. And these are the stalks that we're going to use. Once you get down into the middle, into this leafier part, those are, they're great for salads, those little leaves that are in the middle, but they're not as great to cook and to eat. So we can save those if we'd like, and we could add those, and they just add a little dimension of flavor to some of the salads that we could make with that. So when we're doing our celery, the white part down at the end is a little bitter, so we always want to get rid of that part and just stick with the brighter green parts. So we'll go ahead and cut those off and just get them into the trash.
That was another chefy talk thing. He said dimension. Dimension. I would have just said layers.
And then we can just keep them the size that they are and just go ahead and slice them up a little bit. Go ahead and get that into a bowl to get it out of our way. Another one of those vegetables that you don't realize is in a lot of things is going to be carrots. Carrots are, I apologize. That's why I cook and don't write. Carrots are used in a whole lot of dishes that you don't realize that they're even in. So we'll just go ahead and do 1 or 2 carrots right now. I'll cut off the end. A lot of people like to peel them. I don't mind. They've already been cleaned. So just to add, as Edmund likes to call it, another layer of flavor.
Dimension.
We'll go ahead and slice some carrots that we'll be throwing in some of our dishes as well. Once it gets a little too fat to slice, I like to just cut it in half and then go back in and slice.
See, one of the cool things about watching these videos is not only are you going to learn how to cook all your food in 2 hours, save a whole bunch of money, and also get in shape, get fit, all that kind of stuff, but you'll be able to go to parties and say stuff like dimension of flavors. Yes, I like to add celery for extra dimension. You know, things like that. In fact, if you like, I'll put together a couple of those sayings, and we'll also have it on the blog for you to sound intelligent at parties about your cooking or your chefing. Because once you say dimensions, you're chefing.
All right, we do have a stuffed tomato on the menu this week. So to do this, we're just going to cut off the top of this tomato until you can see the insides. So we need to go a little bit deeper than that. And how you can start to see the insides where all the seeds and everything are. We're going to take that same spoon that we cleaned our portobellos with and just hollow out the inside of that tomato.
You notice he said same spoon. Chefs like to cook. They don't like to clean. They don't like to wash dishes. So they're very efficient.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we're not clean. I mean, at the restaurant, obviously we're very, very clean. Just that it's not Drew that does any of the cleaning.
And I don't think my wife thinks that's very efficient.
Yeah.
She doesn't like having to do the dishes. So we've got the tomato hollowed out here. And we'll just set that to the side and we're going to stuff that with some chicken later on.
Here we go with this.
Next vegetable that we'll go ahead and get ready is we do have some bib lettuce here. We're going to use this to make some lettuce wraps. We're also going to make some salads with these. So for the lettuce wraps, we'll just take the large leaves that are on the outside here, and we'll pull those off and set those to the side because those are. It's a great soft lettuce to make these lettuce wraps with, and these larger leaves are great to make the wraps in. The smaller leaves that are in the middle are great to make salads with. So we have 3 of those leaves. We'll set those to the side. The rest of this, we'll just take the core out, and then we'll slice it up for some salad.
Saw how he did that? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Boop, boop. Then he's pulling the core out.
We'll just reserve those for some salads. All right. We have some cauliflower on the menu this week. We've got a head of cauliflower here. We're going to do this a couple of different ways. We do have some mashed cauliflower, some roasted cauliflower, and some cauliflower rice on the menu.
also, while we have some silence where neither one is talking and I'm nervous, I find things to do with my hands. I'm not really nervous, actually. Honestly, I'm so old. Too old to worry about being nervous. Not like Drew here. Of course, he's not nervous because he's a cool chef. He uses words like dimension. He pops a bibble at his head. Pam, just like that. Very cool. That's something you probably say for you single guys that are watching this video. You should probably save that move right there for when you have guests come over. That's very cool. Well, maybe you should just have a separate video on 1, 2, 3 how to do that. I'm sorry, Drew. Carry on.
No, you're fine. All right. So for the roasted cauliflower, we just want to pull off some of the florets of cauliflower here that we can toss on a sheet tray, and we can season them up with a little bit of our seasoning and roast those in the oven. You do want them to be in manageable sized pieces. You want to be able to stick it on a fork and put it in your mouth.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's a very good point, because we're preparing all the meals for a week, and we're going to be boxing up the lunches and the breakfasts for you to take to work, presumably. You don't want to be sitting at work with a big old piece of meat or a gigantic piece of cauliflower trying to eat it with one bite, because that's just typically, that just doesn't make you look too cool.
Alright, we do have 2 portions of cauliflower rice this week. We're going to do that in the food processor. How we'll do that is we'll just stick these in the food processor, which we have set up over here.
I'm going to get out of the way. So obviously, you'll have to have a food processor to do this. But if not, you could just basically just chop it up. We just do chunky fried rice. So as I was saying, I don't know if the camera caught that. If you don't have a food processor to make it look like rice, you just chop it up by hand. It might be a little chunky, but you just pretend it's that Chinese restaurant that has that clumpy rice. Not like this though, because obviously we do know what we're doing. At least Drew does, because he is a chef. He's gonna be killing me because I'm making fun of him. I'm not making fun of you, Drew.
You shouldn't while I have a knife.
Yeah, good point.
So for our mashed cauliflower, we'll just get a pot of water. And we will set our other quarter of a head of cauliflower in there. Let's make sure it's covered.
You just go ahead and start that.
Yep. And then go ahead and put that on high heat.
Yeah, right there.
And we'll just let that cook until it's soft.
Typically, how many minutes do you think that is?
Probably 20 or so.
Right. But check it.
Next vegetable that we need to prep is
the zucchini, right?
zucchini. We do have a zucchini lasagna this week. So instead of noodles in our zucchini lasagna, we're actually just going to use thin planks of zucchini. So once again, we just cut the ends off of our zucchini, and we just go down and cut these into as thin as you can without really cutting your fingers off.
Do not cut your fingers off.
We do have some green beans in some of these dishes this week. We bought them already cleaned in a bag, so there's really nothing that we have to do to them except open them up and take them out of the package here.
Obviously, you can buy them not clean and not, what do you call those little things on them?
Stems.
Yeah, not, not destemmed, but I mean, honestly.
Some people do like to cut the ends off their green beans. I really don't think it matters. But if you do decide to just cut the ends right off, and you just toss them right in the trash.
Yeah.
And that's it for our vegetable prep. Next, we'll get on to cooking proteins for you guys.